So I'd like to guide us now in a seated meditation practice where we settle our minds, bring our awareness into our bodies, and then rest. And in this practice, we'll use our breath as a support to help us in our practice. So sitting in a chair, something like this maybe, not a comfy sofa that you might fall asleep in, but sitting in a chair where you could sit in an upright, dignified posture, feet on the floor, hands on your lap, and with your back just forward off the back of the rest of the chair so that you stay awake and don't fall asleep. And as always in the meditation practice, if you need to move, make any adjustments, then looking after yourself and making any adjustments you need to. And you can, if you wish, close your eyes for the practice, or if you prefer not to, then lowering your gaze down to the floor, not really looking at anything in particular. I invite you to start breathing in a little deeper than you normally would. And both your in-breath and out-breath should be equal in length. So you may find it helpful to count to a count of 3 or 4 for both your in-breath and your out-breath. Or if you prefer not to count, you might like to say a phrase, something like breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. So now we're doing 2 things, breathing in counting or breathing in saying a phrase. And even though we're doing these 2 things, we may find that thoughts continue to pop up in your mind. And that's okay, that's the nature of our mind. We're not trying to empty our minds, blank our minds, or get rid of our thoughts. Well, what we are doing is focusing our awareness on our breath and saying a phrase, or on our breath and counting. And noticing our breath in our body, dropping our awareness down into our body. Noticing movement as we breathe. Feeling our lungs fill with air. Perhaps being aware of our belly rising as we breathe in deeply. And then following again as we breathe out. Noticing movement in our body as we breathe. Perhaps noticing the movement in the side of our body. It's not just in the front, not just in our tummy. And also noticing movement in the back of our body as well. Like the whole body breathing. And paying attention now to how it feels in your body as you breathe out. What do you notice? Perhaps noticing your body relaxes a little as you breathe out. And we can see if our minds can learn from our bodies. So as our body breathes out and relaxes, we can see if our mind can let go of thoughts and thinking. Taking care, though, we're not suppressing our thoughts in any way. We let them arise as they naturally do. And then when we breathe out, our body relaxes, our mind can let go of the thought. So we're not becoming involved in them or getting caught up in stories. And so we settle ourselves into practice using our breath. And as we breathe out, our body relaxes and our mind lets go of thought and thinking. And before we move on, we let go of counting and return our breathing to normal, whatever's normal for you. And then we drop our awareness deeper into our body, asking ourselves, what am I experiencing? What do I notice in my body just now? So for me, I notice my skin feels cool. I can feel the contact of my feet on the floor. So you may like to start with your head, moving down through your body to your feet. Or you may prefer just to sit, see what comes to you, what you notice. Either way is okay. And when we do notice something, not getting caught up in a big investigation, we're simply noticing what's there. And now we bring awareness back to the whole of our body, all of our being from head to toe. Being aware of the edge of ourself, our skin, being aware of the air surrounding us, being aware of the air in the room, the space we're in, being aware of the size of the space we're in. And being aware of ourselves sitting in a chair, feeling connected to the ground through our feet. And as we continue to sit, moving to rest, resting where we are. Being where we are. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Simply allowing ourselves to be here in this moment, in this space. And as we sit here resting, perhaps after a while, noticing that our mind may not be at rest, maybe thinking going on. And when we notice this, we can use a support to help us in our practice. So we'll use breath as our support in this practice. So if you notice your mind wandering off with a thought, simply noticing that. And then bringing awareness back to your breath and breathing. Finding your breath in your body, wherever you find it. And then staying with it, noticing the flow of your breath, being with breathing. Noticing your breath in your nose or mouth, throat and lungs. Noticing the movement in your body as you breathe in, and the movement in your body as you breathe out. Staying with the flow of your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. And you may notice after a short while your mind wanders off into thought again. And when you notice that, again returning awareness to your breath. Noticing your breath, letting go of the thought, and following your breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And what's happening now? And what's happening now in this moment? If you notice and are aware of your mind wandering, then that's a moment of mindfulness, a moment in practice. When we notice that, then we can return to our breath, using our breath like an anchor in our practice, always present. Always available to us. And as we sit noticing we're following our breath or distracted by thought, we're practicing. This is our practice. So we'll sit for another minute or so in silence, just practicing. Practicing being with the breath and using the breath as an anchor and support. As our practice comes to an end, just gently opening your eyes and making any adjustments or movements you need to be comfortable. Have a stretch if you feel a need.